had fired the Lord earlier, like, what is it? That would have been, I guess Jordan would have ended at 1.
Well,
no, but Lord would have gotten a hidden too, so that would have been...
The Lord deals 3 damage a turn because itself, plus it pumps the Curse Catcher for 1. I think what it would have done is it would have forced Jordan to make a play earlier, and that potentially could have been a counterspell war that he lost.
Is Jordan's punt counter up to date in the chat?
I don't think so.
I think he's up to 3.
Jordan's at a punt count of 3.
Yeah. All right, so we're getting opening hands right now. It looks like Tessier has Umezawa's Jite, Cavern of Souls, Mutavault, Wasteland, Phantasmal Image, True Name Nemesis, and Silvergill add up. So a couple threats. Jite, which is not super powerful in the dark, but definitely has applications, especially versus Jordan's X1 deck.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly one of the shortcomings of this Aisaka Still deck, as I like to call it, even though it doesn't play land still anymore.
Oh.
So we got a Volcanic from Jordan and a Mutavault from Tessier. Let's see what Michael's just going to decide to do here. He's got a Cavern on Merfolk. I was thinking game 1 that he should have named Goblin instead of Merfolk. And then we've got a Silvergill Adept coming down, revealing, I imagine it's going to be the True Name Nemesis.
What? Yeah,
it will be the True Name.
Oh, and he drew the island, so he will be able to cast the True Name next turn.
Most definitely. Jordan's going to draw a Stoneforge Mystic, which is going to help him find a Jite of his own. But True Name Nemesis with Jite is better than most creatures with a Jite on it, just for a lot of reasons.
True Name is pretty disgusting against Jordan's deck.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially when it's uncounterable.
Yeah, through a cavern, not fun. This is just non-interactive magic to a T. Yeah. And of course there's a Wasteland from Michael Tessier that he could fire off next turn to stop Jordan from being able to put that Batterskull into play if he so chooses.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's more worthwhile to waste or to put True Name in?
Oh, the question. Waste or True Name?
I like True Name here because I think Wasteland while you have a True Name in play is way better than Wasteland while you have a True Name in hand. I think there's a lot of other factors that go into that decision, but that's kind of the final decider for me.
Yeah, I think once you get True Name out, that's like the beginning of the end.
Yeah, I feel like, what is it? Putting True Name in here and then following it up with the Jite is going to be devastating because Jordan's not going to be able to play and equip Jite next turn.
That's true. That being said, if Jite gets countered, it sets Tessier up for kind of awkward lines. So I think what he could do is he could play the Jite without playing the land, and then if it gets countered, play the Wasteland and waste. And if it doesn't, then he can play a different land, or potentially play the Wasteland anyways.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely pressures Jordan quite a bit. He needs to find an answer for that fast. And you know what? There's probably not a lot of answers game 1 for a True Name Nemesis with a Jite attached from these fair mid-range decks. Really need a sweeper of some sort, Terminus maybe.
It's not even really that many gate after board. It's going to bring in blasts and they can't counter it off Cavern of Souls.
Exactly. True Name is very non-interactive off Cavern of Souls, and that's one of the reasons why Merfolk has equity in this metagame. It's very clearly the best True Name Nemesis deck.
Also, Chalice counters Pyroblast.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Champ.
Sweet. He has another island and a... I guess that's Master of Waves?
Might be a Lord, yeah.
One of the Pump Lords.
Apparently,
they're all the same.
Was trying to bait the Force of Will out of Jordan.
Alright, so still no Wasteland here. But I guess... What is it? Yeah, I would have waited for land drop like you said and tried playing GTA first, see if it gets countered, and then choose to waste if necessary.
And Jordan's got to force this. I don't think you can let him not force it. And Tessier does not get to use the Wasteland here.
That was unfortunate sequencing.
Yeah, I think that he could have gone through that same sequencing but played a Wasteland first and then be able to use that Wasteland.
Oh, but I guess here he gets the Pump Lord, so he's still...
I suppose.
Oh,
he's got a clone. So he does need to be sure that he does not equip Umezawa's Jite to this creature because it does target. But
it's True Name Nemesis,
right? Phantasmal Image is actually not a Merfolk, so Jordan can counter this. And Jordan actually has an answer for True Name Nemesis in hand. He has a Council's Judgment, so if he has another white source, he'll be able to deal with it. That being said, Tessier could potentially waste him off that white source, and he would not be long for this world. We got a Batterskull coming down. That being said, there's a True Name on attack and defense from Tessier, so this Batterskull doesn't do a whole lot.
Yeah, that's what you want. You just want all the True Names.
Yes, and of course,
the
Jordan,
Goku token.
Jordan has a pretty solid answer to one True Name Nemesis, but sadly not both. And he can't target that Phantasmal Image very effectively while it has protection.
Yeah, there you go. Just laying it on top of the other True Name. Got 2 of these.
Fetching up a white source. He's got access to double white now. Going to be able to play that Council's Judgment.
Snapcaster was the draw.
Ooh,
Snapcaster Mage is going to make him so Jordan's going to be able to fire off a second Council's Judgment in just a few turns. Potentially one.
Can he mind game him into picking the other True Name Nemesis?
On Magic Online for a while, it just said the name of the card that got picked, and so if you had multiples in play, you didn't know.
Oh yeah, I was really upset.
Really?
That's awful.
I was upset about that. I was playing Enchantress, and then they'd play it, and it's like Sterling Grove was picked. I was like, I have 2 Sterling Groves.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like Jordan is going to vote for the Phantasmal image instead of the actual true name Nemesis. I actually would have named the real true name Nemesis in case Tessier has another equipment. He's not going to be able to equip it to that true name.
So Michael needs to wasteland the white source.
Oh, and also, yeah, if he had the other...
up the punt counter for Jordan.
I don't know how to up the punt count.
You just type bang punt.
Oh, okay. Looks like you got it under control.
I'm stretching, man. I'm stretching. Oh, punt count is up to 2.
Yeah,
Ooh,
0.77 per hour.
4, actually.
Lots of punts, it sounds like. Punts for days. Jordan has 3 mana. What's he
Apparently,
got
the
for
punt
out
count needs to be up to 4, so we're currently updating that for you.
here? Jordan in the tank about what he wants to do here. Looks like no action. Just going to draw. Finds himself a basic plains. Here's a Snapcaster Mage.
Council's Judgment flashback.
Here it is, the Squeakle. There's another true name Nemesis down, though, so...
Oh, that's why he did the clone, so he could swing in with...
Oh, the Batter Skull?
Yeah.
Gain 4 life?
That makes a bit more sense.
Looks like he's going to Snapcaster Council's Judgment, the untapped true name Nemesis, yet again. And Tessier is in the tank about whether or not it resolves. The true name, the Snapcaster's on the stack. I see. We haven't gotten to Council's Judgment yet.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious the Council's Judgment is going to be the...
Oh yeah, so he does have the Force and the Lord to pitch.
Yeah, so he can lose a Lord here if he wants to, but...
you definitely do that.
Yeah, I think true name is more important than a Lord, for sure.
This game is about all the true names.
Yeah.
Yeah, when your opponent's able to gain 4 life, well, you could go 1 for 1. They gain 4 life, you do 4 damage.
I don't think it's worth it. I do wonder, though, do you think it's better to counter the Snapcaster Mage or the Council's Judgment? Because what if Jordan has another Snapcaster Mage in his hand?
I kind of like countering the Council's Judgment now that you bring it up.
Well, I think that the Snapcaster Mage isn't a very relevant body in the sport state. I think there are times where it's absolutely right to counter the Snapcaster, and I think that's most of the time, but I think this would be a good time to counter the Council's Judgment.
If he had dazes, he'd just let him play it in daze.
Yeah, I daze the Snapcaster, show him a message, send him a message. We've got 2 true names getting in 6 damage. So, of course, Michael Tessier has a 6-point life swing here, and Jordan has an 8-point life swing here. But Jordan has a far lower life total, so we'll see if this can add up. This can add up. Tessier going to take out Jordan's red source, leaving him with triple white. We got a Spellstutter Sprite on the end step. This guy can wear Batter Skull pretty well, fly over true name Nemesis as they want to block.
It's Jordan's preferred endgame.
Oh, most definitely. Here it is.
Token.
Yeah.
Hits.
Get this germ out of here. Here's 5. So we're up to a 10-point life swing now. And can he erase these true names? It's going to be close.
A Lord would make it super terrifying.
Speaking of...
In for 8.
Jordan's going to draw for the turn. He needs to find an answer to this Lord fast. Finds a Snapcaster Mage, so...
He can snap Council's Judgment.
Yeah, he has access to that Council's Judgment. That line I was talking about just came up. I don't know if that means it was necessarily right to play around, but it certainly is an option. And you just pick up a true name Nemesis here, I think, right? So you can keep a Lord, but you only get 1 true name. This 5/5 is going to be bigger than most creatures that Tessier has, so it can block him anyways. Here it is. There's the Snapcaster Mage. Tessier, of course, does not have Force Will this time, and Jordan gets to play around days this time. Jordan's in the tank. He's figuring out what he wants to target.
The other issue is that if he doesn't hit the Lord, then he can attack through because of Island Walk.
But it's only for 7, right? He's got the Mutavault too, so actually that would have been lethal.
Yeah.
Good point. Jordan's going to get up. He realizes there's not a Lord. That's, I think, the only thing that kills him here.
Oh, Tessier gonna tap for 2.
Here it comes. I can hear...
Oh!
I can hear Jordan from the basement on that reveal. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Such a... What is it? Is it Harbinger of the Tides too? Is that the name?
Harbinger of the Tides?
Yeah, so it's like churning the tides. I don't know.
That is Master of the Pearl Trident. And it is showing mastery of Jordan Aisaka's
Jordan's running
islands.
around the room.
His blue sources
That's
got
gotta
to
be so frustrating. The camera is shaking out of rage.
Jordan is going through one of the many stages of grief. I'm not sure which one he's currently experiencing. It may be a hodgepodge of multiples.
Disbelief.
So
He's getting to bargaining now.
Game 1, right?
That was game 1, going to Tessier. Yeah, True Name Nemesis off Cavern of Souls is it's a hell of a drug.
That was a nice rip.
Jordan is showing what happens if you embrace the dark side of the Force here.
So wait, did Jordan have main deck Sword of Fire and Ice, or?
I don't know. Let's check the deck list. It's not these ones. It's this one.
Yeah.
So
So
it looks like the answer is yeah. He's got the trifecta. So Batterskull, Sophie, and Jite are all in Jordan's deck.
I just love Jordan's reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Terrified with all the camera shake, but
And so Jordan has meddling mages in his sideboard that he could board in on True Name Nemesis. That's a pretty solid answer. I love how I can just hear Jordan. I can see him on camera, and then I hear the sound effect coming through the basement.
I like how our chat or our scouters or whatever they're called are also telling us that the tilt is real. Oh, apparently people are pointing out that there were only 6 card draws that got Mike Tessier out of that.
Boards?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Island Walking Lord specifically. I don't think that it mattered. I don't think that it updated the clock to attack with his mainland, so I think he just left it back. Ultimately, I don't think it mattered,
Echoing
though.
Truth, would that have gotten him out of it?
How could he echo the Lord, maybe?
Echo the Batterskull and then attack everybody.
Echoing Truth is sideboard?
No, it's main deck and Tessier's deck. I mean, Tessier won that,
Okay.
right? He hit the Lord.
Yeah, he hit the Lord.
Yeah, okay. So Jordan would need to find it out.
He did swing with the Mutavault the last turn, but he didn't swing. Yeah. It didn't affect the clock, but yeah, he did swing with the Mutavault for the I can't speak tonight. The final swing through.
Mm-hmm. And Tessier's looking at his deck list right now, figuring out the last cards for his sideboard. He had the sideboard written up, but he didn't have all the cards available, so he's bumming around asking for cards from various people, myself included. He borrowed a True Name Nemesis from me.
Feel kind of happy. This is mostly my Merfolk.
Yeah, I got most of the cards from you. Jordan thought that when he was borrowing cards from you, he was borrowing the cards for lands. Which I believe you specifically mentioned that the cards you're missing for that deck, Tabernacle and nothing else,
I'm
so-
missing Tabernacle. So, I mean, I guess if you're playing a blue control deck, like, you don't want Tabernacle. And if
Yeah,
you're...
you wouldn't want Tabernacle versus Jordan's deck, I don't think. I mean, maybe you can have a sweet crop rotation line for it, but it doesn't seem very
I
hot.
always want Tabernacle.
It just takes up one slot, you may as well.
Don't want that card.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're proxying 2 Lawan,
Literally
Cephalid
never
Empress,
worked out.
and Kira Great Glass Spinner.
Whoa, is he allowed to do that when he already played with
Maybe
Merfolk?
against actual creatures decks.
I'm really surprised he's boarding in Lawan. I don't think that card's very
Box, I
good.
could probably board it out.
Which
I can
one's
pull that up.
Lawan?
Lawan,
Yeah.
Cephalid Empress? Jeez. I'm
I might
clicking
just
all
keep
over the
it
place.
'cause
Oh my
it's
goodness.
locked.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
you clicked on the...
there's
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I saw the mouse on the camera, and I thought it was the mouse.
more cards than I
Um,
might from the logo game.
So this is Lawan Cephalid Empress.
Oh.
So it like returns all blue creatures, then your opponent can't play blue creatures. And like the only ones that Jordan has are Spellstutter Sprites, and I guess he's got True Name Nemesis, right?
Snapcaster Mage?
Just
Oh,
click-
yeah.
Click 2.
Verdelian Click.
So he's got
yeah.
Snapcaster Mage, Spellstutter Sprite, and Vendilion Click. No True Name Nemesis. All these creatures have bonkers ETB effects.
I'm not sure how I feel about the artwork on that card.
I think it's dope. I think the art is like one of the best things about that card. That and the 3 booty. I love.
I'm
3
like,
booties.
I feel both extremes. I'm like, that's super awesome art, and at the same time, I'm like, that art is gonna give me nightmares.
I love Eldritch stuff, and I wish there was more Eldritch stuff in Magic. And this is like one of the closer cards that we get. I mean, obviously, Return to Innistrad had a ton of it, but what was it, Shadows over Innistrad?
I can understand why he'd want to bring this in though, because what
I don't know.
almost cost him the game was the Council's Judgment and being able to snap it back. So it's kind of like when your opponent does that turn 1, or game 1, that's the thing that's still on your mind as you're sideboarding.
Well, I think that the reason why that's a little awkward is because when you're writing that line, your intention is I'm going to have True Name Nemesis, and the only card that he has to interact is Council's Judgment, so I'm going to blank him from being able to snap Council's Judgment. But then you can just get Lawan bolted. Like, this doesn't really stop your opponent from
Interesting. So Jordan took out 4 Force of Wills.
Yes. So it is a Cavern of Souls deck and an Aether Vial deck. So Force of Will,
Good one.
It's a little clunky, yeah.
yeah. Although I have been really confused because, whoop, I don't know what's going on. I played goblins before, and someone did not take out Force of Will, and I was just like, "What are you doing?" When they like Force of Willed my Pyroblast, I'm like, "What is this?"
I think Force Will has applications versus Cavern decks. It's very specific applications.
Yes, but it's like it's such a dead card in hand until your opponent plays that one card, and
I mean, I think that even Merfolk and Goblins both, like, they do have other spells to play.
Yeah.
One thing to consider is if he takes out the Force of Wills, the Chalices are going to be really good.
Yeah,
And
it's one of the main cards that I want to be countering.
if he's not countering the Chalice, then he could, Michael could just play Chalice and then Pyroblast is offline, Brainstorm's offline.
So
It could get really awkward.
I've been hearing a lot of mixed things about Merfolk lists. Like, some of the people I've talked to have been saying Chalice has no place in a Merfolk deck, and other people are like, Chalice is what allows Merfolk to still compete in Legacy.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, the truth of the matter is, in my opinion, is that Merfolk isn't necessarily the best creature deck anymore. It used to be, right after True Name got printed, it was very powerful, and it really got to show off just how good that card is. But it's not really as great anymore, in my opinion. I feel like a lot of decks are kind of prepared for these 3-mana 3/1s in ways that they otherwise wouldn't be. And that certainly lowered the equity on it. And I think they kind of have to play Chalice just because they need to keep up versus all these other decks. But the fact that they don't have any soul lands, they don't have any ways to power out the Chalice on turn 1 is really detrimental to the cause. So it's not a great Chalice deck in that regard. But I think that being a Chalice deck is still probably a better alignment than not being a Chalice deck. Yeah, still in the tank about how boarding strategy goes. Jordan is just head in hands.
Yeah, I think, what is it? They found some basic lands and just Sharpied on them right now. This is unsanctioned Legacy, so I think it's okay.
Although I did hear that Jordan has 2 warnings and Mike has 1.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Unsportsmanlike conduct minor for dancing when his opponent made it.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what Michael Tessier did that Jordan was dancing about. I think it was the mulligan to 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it was the mulligan to 5, which is, a great time to cheer.
Then also forgetting to lose life to Force.
Oh, good point.
Then Michael Tessier got something about misrepresenting the board state. I didn't hear the elaboration on that. But.
So Michael Tessier violed in the Lord and pointed at it and said he had Island Walk.
Oh, yeah.
I had to say, actually, he doesn't.
And some of these cards are actually really old, and it's like, I think one of the lords says all Merfolk you control get +1/+1, which would be super.
And it's a Lord. Its creature type is Lord for Lord of Atlantis.
Right.
Yeah, and that'd be super broken if it pumped itself. But yeah.
Yeah, they changed Goblin King the same way.
Yeah, they changed all the Lords.
All
There's
the-
quite a few of
All
them.
the creature type lords.
I mean, I think Lord is a pretty poor creature type. It insinuates a
Agreed.
lot of text that doesn't actually exist attached to a specific creature type. It
It's
exists.
more like profession.
Yeah,
Profession.
yeah. Race class is what WotC has been pushing for a while, and I think that's a far more descriptive creature type categorization.
But what if?
The Lord?
No, just creature types in general. They try and
Oh.
make every card a race and a
Merfolk.
class.
Yeah.
Merfolk
Oh,
Soldier,
okay.
Merfolk Wizard, Merfolk Knight.
Yeah.
Are they still or are there still lords, or do they
I think
still
they're
have the
Merfolk
subtype?
Wizards. I think they're Merfolk
Oh.
Wizards. And they say other Merfolks, obviously.
I was gonna be like super sad if it used to be you were able to play like a lord tribal deck, and then now you couldn't.
No.
Yeah, it used to be that if you
Cavern
had a
on
card like,
could you imagine Cavern on Lord or whatever?
Lords
all of your
Dogtown.
lords. Yeah, all of your lords pump other lords. That'd be pretty funny.
I don't know.
So it looks like we are getting on with the show
So
here.
for those
Getting
Merfolk
set up for
goblins.
the next game.
And you'd have to.
Going to game 2 here. Jordan
there's
down a
card that
game,
turns
losing
every
or
creature.
Oh,
yeah, Jordan down a game
that
after
would be
Tessier rips
awesome.
another lord off the top to get his true names in for
Or
lethal.
changelings, they're just all creature types.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
Jordan not too happy about this. I feel like this is a pretty good spot for Merfolk to be. Merfolk kind of loves preying on these blue X decks that don't have a lot of great answers to True Name Nemesis.
Yeah.
Half our viewers just tuned in just to see Jordan like lose it.
I assume that is what happened. We are on Jordan Aisaka's actual stream, so
Yep.
I imagine some of these people watch his stream for him.
Right.
So
We have taken over his stream.
There's somebody with just a salt shaker.
see that a lot on his stream for sure. I'm surprised that
What's it
nobody's
full at?
posted the copy pasta Yeah, you want to post a link to the vote in chat again? It'll update live when people vote.
So it's still 1 versus 1. So you can vote on the straw poll, and should probably put the match back up on stream. Vote on the straw poll and let us know who you think who's going to win. But yeah, who are you guys voting for? Are we allowed to be biased?
I definitely.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be a
kind
high-stakes
of-
game otherwise.
I kind of feel like Mike Tessier is currently leading this.
He's certainly up right now.
His last 2 decks are both
Mhm.
like targeting and prey upon blue control decks, and Jordan's last 2 decks are blue control decks.
Yeah, I feel like all of Jordan's decks are getting preyed upon by Tessier's list, and I feel like Jordan kind of didn't shore up any weak points in any of the decks, if that makes sense. They're all being attacked from the same angle,
Mhm.
and I feel like Jordan knew that Tessier was going to be playing some Chalice decks, and Tessier has 2 different Chalice decks. He's got Merfolk and then Eldrazi as well.
I kind of feel like Jordan's list, if this was Last Man Standing, Jordan's list, I think, were really strong picks. But for this Conquest style, where it's like once you win, you move on to the next deck, 2 of his decks feel like there's a lot of overlap in how you can combat them. So it's...
Whereas I feel like Tessier's decks are coming from very different directions. Even though he's got 2 Chalice decks, I feel like the way you attack them is so totally different.
Yes.
They do very different things with their Chalice of the Void.
So Tessier took out 4 Days, 4 Force, and an Echoing Truth.
Yeah, I think when you're on the draw, you really don't want your Dazes. And I think that in fair matchups like this, you really don't want Forcible all that much. Like, it tends to be a pretty hefty card disadvantage for a creature deck that really needs to maximize all of its threats. Jordan has the Grim Lavamancer
But
as
I
an
would
opening,
like
though.
to keep in Echoing Truth,
Yeah.
just because it deals with problematic permanents like
Does he have
Lavamancer.
more than 1 Echoing Truth?
I think it's just 1 in the main deck, and I think he might have 1 on the sideboard.
Is this Jordan's phone or
Bounce
who's?
Batter Skull,
I don't know whose phone that is at all. It's vibrated a few times, though.
You can also just bounce whatever and then play the wand.
Mm-hmm.
Grim Lavamancer. That's really strong, and
One of
that's
the
a
best one
great
drops in Jordan's
start.
deck. Tessier's just got Island Go. No Aether Vial in his opener.
Uh,
So it looks like Kira, Chalice of the Void, Master of Waves, double True Name Nemesis.
Here is amazing.
so I'm gonna...
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna pull up Tessier's list to try figuring out who, or if he does have an answer to this.
Kira is a pretty solid answer to Grim Lavamancer. Certainly set some weird interactions.
He has Dismember sideboard and a Sorcerer's Spyglass sideboard, but
I
I'm
don't
not
think you're gonna board
sure.
either one in here. Oh,
Yeah.
Feels very good.
So Kira seems like the only out
Pretty
to
great.
this.
We got Chalice on 1 coming down.
Chalice on 5.
Jordan's going to respond with a 1-drop. He's got a Brainstorm to fire off here. Draw Island and 2 other whiteboard cards. Looks like another Brainstorm. And I didn't see what the other card was. I think it was another land.
He
Yeah,
does
looks
have-
like Volcanic.
It's a disenchant in the window.
Oh, that's Disenchant. I thought that was EE.
And so it's still in response to this Chalice. Of the Void,
Another
he's fired off
Brains-
another Brainstorm. 1 card deeper.
Doesn't
Jordan's
have white
excited.
mana yet.
Yeah, he's trying not to get Brainstorm locked to that white mana. I don't
Okay,
think he
there
found
is a
it.
plains. The last card is a plane.
Oh, is it?
Is it? Or is that...
Sophie.
no.
I think it's an equipment, yeah.
Oh, I was really hoping that was plains.
Looks like Jordan is locked out from white mana. He's going to put a Stoneforge and a Disenchant on top of his library. He is able to play that...
Jeet in hand, though.
Yeah, I think he's got Jeet and Sophie, so he's going to be able to play the Sophie next turn if he'd like, which is an incredibly powerful card in this matchup. It
Does he
races
have a
so
third
fast.
hand?
And he does have 2
Yeah.
cards in the graveyard
He's
now.
got 2
so.
lands in his hand, Volcanic plus an Island.
Goes for the Jeet. Interesting.
And looks like he's just going to send it back.
So he wants that red up to kill a lord.
Yeah, I suppose so. That being said, if Tessier has a land, he's going to be able to... Yep, looks like he can deploy the Kira if he'd like to right now. That being said, Kira is answered pretty efficiently by Jita. You can target it once.
Oh, true name.
True Name can't be targeted by a whole lot of things, though. Jordan's going to jam his Sword of Fire and Ice. Maybe he should have played that last turn just in case this occurred. Tessier in the tank here. It's like he drew Wasteland for the turn.
Wait, he has a... Oh, no, the mountains naming is one of his, yeah.
Wasteland's really nice.
So the mountain is a Kira.
Take Jordan off of red and still has no white.
Oh, yeah, I really like that idea of wastelanding here.
Yeah, he knows that Jordan is a little starved for lands here. He just played Island after brainstorming twice.
If If you have no red, you can't activate Lavamancer.
Mhm.
So
Blanks another card. That being said, Tessier could wait a little bit longer, wait for Jordan to suit up the Grim Lavamancer by tapping his lands. I guess he'd probably tap the Volcanic, though. Jordan's moving the Volcanic towards the island already. Jordan actually probably wants him to fire off this Wasteland here. It means that any white source that he finds will be able to sit and play for a little bit longer.
So I think no matter what, he's suiting up with Sophie.
Oh yeah,
I
you're
don't
probably
think
right.
he cares about the third land
Mhm.
at this moment.
best thing about the Sophie is that it gets him another card, so
Yeah.
it digs him out of his brainstorm lock faster.
Definitely. Really wants to get out of that Brainstorm lock as soon as possible. Really wants to find a white source, cast that Disenchant. That being said, I mean, if he's got the board, he probably doesn't care that much about Chalice Void.
Mike has the Phantasmal Image, so it's kind of like I guess there's a lot of decisions right here.
I mean, Phantasmal Image pretty much always just copies True Name Nemesis. Otherwise, it's kind of a liability.
Right.
It does, but it's kind of like, do you play Phantasmal Image? Oh, he has a lot of choices, but I guess Kira's
He has
gonna.
another True Name as well, so maybe he just jams a second True Name here. Yeah.
Oh, True Name.
Mhm.
In
So
for
attack for
3.
and then waste that Volk. Get him out of here. Pass turn back to Jordan. Jordan's going to go ahead and draw. It's going to be a Ponder. Hopefully he's going to... I was kind of thinking he might fire it off here. Just
See what happens.
Yeah.
Test the
Tessier
waters.
got the last one, which I thought was really solid. Jordan's going to rip the
Oh.
basic land.
Wow, that was a good rip.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what he needed. You cannot get wasted off that color.
This is going to be
Tessier's going to draw.
True Name number 3. Oof, Mutavault and True Name.
Mutavault, of course, is colorless, which is a big plus. Tessier in the tank here. He's got a few options. Sword of Fire and Ice provides a pretty fast clock. By itself, it's 4 damage. Suited up to that Grim Lavamancer. It's going to be 5 a turn, so he's only on a couple turn clock right now. Really got to find his way out of this. That being said, double True Name Nemesis is a pretty solid board to answer pretty much any sort of race. Looks like we're going to see a Master come down. And we're going to see a Phantasmal Image. It looks like
Yeah.
on the Master. Wow, that's pretty impressive board. Still dies to being targeted. So actually, Jordan would be able to kill both Lords next turn by removing a counter from the GT on the Phantasmal Image and then having the Sword of Fire and Ice trigger target the original Lord. That being said, it is going to allow Michael Tessier to get in for, what, 10 this turn? Is that right? Yeah. +5, or +2/+2 on those 3 ones.
And if he has a Lord the next turn, or he can just hit with
The Mutavault.
Mutavault for lethal.
That being said, GT would still have a counter on it, can gain 2 life with that effect.
But if he has another Lord, then it's lethal.
Yeah, very true.
So,
Does he have another Lord?
I'm not
He does
100%
not.
sure.
I don't think he does.
I thought he just
I
had
think it's a
Kira and a.
Jordan freak out again.
Yeah.
Jordan can't be happy about all these true games.
It's kind of awkward because he's stuck in a position where he can't disenchant right here.
Yeah, disenchanting here doesn't really generate any pressure on the board, and he really needs to find a way to get off this board. He needs to clear this board off as soon as possible. Jordan's in the tank here.
So
What is he
Stoneforge and
That's
Spellstutter Sprite.
pretty perfect.
doing? Hurricane Anande? Hurricane
Oh,
That's, sorry, I totally butchered that. I'm really not sure what's going on there. We do have deck lists in paper, but I don't know if we have a way to upload them to the internet easily. So we're going to have the Sophie trigger target the Lord, and then removes the GTA counter to target the Phantasmal Image that's copying a Lord, gets both of them out of there. Hello and welcome, Dead in the Street. We just have some sweet, sweet Legacy show match action going on down here.
Jordan Aisaka versus Mike Tessier, 2 Seattle greats.
Yeah,
Both have taken down some 1K tournament challenges.
Oh, yeah. And they are both booth buddies. They're both very frequent casters at Card Kingdom.
What's crazy is like downstairs, if you hang out there, it's like things will be laid back, everyone's laughing, and then things get really tense when it's like critical plays like this. And you can see like Mike Tessier staring over, Jordan thinking right now.
Yeah, these guys
And
really
then-
have their game faces going. I mean, Jordan looks like a little bit like he's on the ropes. He's really trying to find his way out of this. He does not want to lose with this deck versus Merfolk. He doesn't know what Tessier's last deck is, but he probably does not want to play this versus it. He's probably guessing it's Eldrazi or big red. That's what I would be guessing in his spot.
Neither of which you really want to play. And if he cracks the fetch here, he just he has to gain
6, yeah.
Yeah, he has to gain life off that Jite.
He's gonna deploy a Stoneforge.
I guess you
That's
get
a
Batterskull. Yeah.
That'll get you quite a bit of life, that's for sure. I don't know if it'll be enough though.
Yeah. It'll be exactly not enough.
Stoneforge is just gonna get thrown over the bus because the Mutavault is gonna activate.
Yeah, just by itself, it needs to block the Mutavault, assuming nothing else happens.
Obviously, Mike wins with the Lord.
Tessier draws a Phantasmal Image, which is not a Lord. Very close though. I wonder if maybe that last Phantasmal Image should have copied a True Name Nemesis.
So wait,
It would have been 2 less damage last turn, but it would have been 1 more damage this turn.
does Jordan actually have an out here though? Because it's like next turn he plays
I don't
Batterskull.
think so. I really don't think so. I don't think that
Yeah,
the
and
GT
Jordan-
gained him enough.
Got 2 plays, so he
Jordan looks
Phantasmal
like
Image, copy,
Jordan's face is
True
not
Name,
pleased right now. I think he knows that he
activate
doesn't
Mutavault.
really have an out
He has
here.
to block.
Yep.
Has to use the GT counter to gain life so it doesn't just lose to the 6 from True Name.
And then he can gain
And
4
then
next
Jordan
turn.
can't
So he kind of-
kill next turn.
Yeah, he kind of has to hope that Tessier messes
Jordan
up this
can't
line.
Batterskull.
Jordan really needs a Moment's Peace, I think. That's the card he's looking for right now. That would be
Holy
pretty...
day.
Yeah, that'd be pretty devastating.
Yeah, I was
here
like,
for Tessier.
what's the white fog?
I think you really want both sides on that card, though.
Holy Light, even better, just to kill all the True Names.
Oh yeah, all non-white creatures get -1/-1. Why aren't more people playing that card?
So I'm kind of.
That was hot for a minute.
It was, yeah.
What is Mike Tessier thinking about here?
He's thinking about what he wants to copy with this Lord. I mean, I feel like there's not much of a decision.
Yeah.
I think what is it? He can put in Kira
He
possibly,
can.
but I feel like you really want to put in your Phantasmal Image here, activate Mutavault, swing, and just like.
Oh my goodness.
We're gonna see this Mutavault manned up. Stoneforge is gonna get in the way,
Yeah.
and Jordan is gonna kill the Mutavault?
Yeah.
No, he can't.
No.
He'll
Mutavault
die.
doesn't die.
Yeah, no. I thought he was removing the counter to deal damage. He's gaining 2 life with the trigger,
Yeah.
taking 6, going down to 2. What? Oh, okay.
And then we got another True Name.
I think so, yeah.
True name here.
Yep,
Lock it.
Phantasmal Image on True Name.
Yep.
So that means that there's no counters on this GT.
So what does Jordan have it out? Does he have any rats? Supreme Verdict?
He needs he needs a Pyroclasm that can't be prevented.
Oh no, he can gain. Nope, he can go up to 6.
Yeah, he's just gonna go ahead and scoop him up. So that's
So Mike
quick.
Tessier.
Is that 2-0?
Yeah.
Quick smash. The True Name beats have gotten there. Really powerful over this is his blue X decks. So Tessier has 1 deck left to win with, and Jordan is in the dark as to what it is. Jordan still has to win with this deck as well as his 3rd deck, which he has not exposed to Tessier yet.
And the last deck is Eldrazi, so it's kind of like.
Michael Tessier's last deck is Eldrazi. Jordan has this deck and Grixis Delver to play and win with. So neither one of these are great matchups for Delver or Jeskai. I think these are both pretty bad spots to be in for Jordan.
So if anyone was wondering, is Merfolk still playable in Legacy?
It's really playable versus Jordan Aisaka, I'll tell you that much. And I feel like these high-stakes Conquest-style matches, it's pretty important to realize that you are playing against a player who does have habits. And if you can take advantage of those habits and find their weak points and attack them from interesting and unique angles, you can put them in weird corners like this. This is not where Jordan wants to be, and this is where